Hi book friends, this is Kat and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is my June TBR. I'm so excited about this because I did create a new TBR game, and before I jump into showing you what I got for the month of June, let's go ahead and see the board games that I did play or I did create, and I explained a little bit more into that video, like the logistics. So let's just jump into that video right now. Hello everyone. So this is going to be a quick walkthrough of my new TBR. So for this TBR, I have different lands in Disney. For this game, I have 10 different characters, so to speak. Each character has their own land, and as you can see from this one, I'm sure you can guess who this might be. The apple might give it away, but this is Snow White's land. Now, I colored the background in color pencils for all of them because I didn't want to use a lot of ink, especially since this is just going to be I still count it as a draft. I'm still trying it out, but I was really excited to try to do this game. And so I might change it up a bit. So I guess when I kind of figure out all the little mishaps or what I typically like in a game, I might switch out a few things and then I'll print like a nicer copy, so to speak. But this is going to work for right now. So this, as I said, is Snow White's land, and I printed out and fussy cut all the different characters. So here's Snow White, and I did all this on Canva, but I just printed her out and then I put her on cardstock. But she is always there. She's going to start here where it says start at the wishing well, and she has to go through the land all the way until she gets to the cottage. So I will be using a 6-sided die for this board game, and when Snow White lands on one of the circles, she has a prompt, and I made these prompts for a different game, and I decided just to reuse them, and then I added a few more too, but let me see if I can find like her prompts of what one of her prompts is. Okay, so I found them. So for this one, SW Snow White, let's put that there. So this one says wishing well, and this is to read a recent purchase. So anytime I land on a circle, I will pull one of these cards. Now these with the pretty metallic background are the older prompts that I previously made. If you've seen my channel before, then you kind of know those prompts. And then these prompts with some newer backgrounds, they're all kind of like different, like right here. This one says 20, and I originally was going to do my some new cards for this year, which is based off of the books that I want to read for the year 2026. And so I came up with a list of 20 books that I wanted to read this year. And my initial thought was to put the picture of the book here. So when I pulled the card, that would be the book I had to read. Well, I decided instead I'm just going to write free choice. And if I get this card and I have to choose from that list any book I wanted. So out of the 20 books I want to read this year, I get to have a free choice to pick the book that I want to read. So there's that one. This one has the number 52. And so this is part of the 52 book club prompts, I guess, where you get a prompt for each week of the year. It's a big thing. I didn't think I was going to do it, but I decided last minute I wanted to, so I made new cards. And so this one says book face, and they have like a whole guide and everything. But I didn't just want to put like book face. I wanted this to match the game. So I created a title that says fairest of them all. And the idea, it was whatever prompt they had, I just had to find like a quote or a place or a character that kind of reminds me of the prompt. So a book face, basically that one is, it has like the face of a person on the book, but like half their face or something. So it's like if you put the book up to your face, it can kind of mirror your face or something like that. I'm not doing a great job explaining, but I figured, oh, fairest of them all deals with faces. So there you go. And so they're all like different types of cards. Like this one, oh, this one's hard to explain, but this was one of their prompts. Somehow I figured lightning bolt matched. I think this one is like an unexplainable, like not an unexplainable, but like the ending or something happens that it was just like fate or just like unrealistic or something like that. So in the movie of Snow White, I mean, a thunderbolt or a lightning bolt hits the rock and, you know, the witch dies that way. So anyways, that's kind of what I have here. So anytime I land on a circle, then, you know, the character gets a prompt. And so there's that. And I'm going to back up just a little bit, but every character has a specific ability. So Snow White's ability is I can redraw once from the challenge jar. And so I'm going to explain the challenge jar at the end, but that's going to be her specific ability. So she's going to go through, and this is called a portal. And what the portal does is that once she hits this, I have to roll a D10, and I'll probably do that on the internet because I don't own one. And out of the D10, she gets transported to whatever land that number is. So each land has different numbers, as you can see here. So if she lands on, let's say, an 8, she will get transported to that land. And I will show you the different lands in a minute. But each land has 2 portals at least. And again, I'll show you what I mean by that later. But you have a purple one, and then you have a magenta one, and then you have a blue one. So if she lands on the magenta one, she will go to that magenta portal in the other land. If she lands on the blue one, she will go to that portal in that other land. So she keeps going, and then you keep the character. I just switch the board and switch the cards to match the board that she'll be on for that one. So she continues all the way until you get to the end. The end is my challenge square, so she has to defeat the villain. And so here is my challenge jar, as you can see from previous videos. I will select one. These are all like readathons I want to do, all like challenges I'm in the middle of, other people's TBR games. But this one says, okay, this one's an old one, and I don't know if I can find it, but this one's called The Last Airbender. There was a readathon I was interested in a while ago, and I just stuck it in here. So what I would do is I would look at that readathon, and I would add the prompts to the end of my TBR, essentially. And hopefully, you know, I can read through all of them. I might have special rules with this. Again, I'm still working it out, but I think if it requires more than 5 books, then I'll just do 5 books, and then I'll just put this one back in here, and then if it comes up again, I'll just do the other 5 prompts. I think that's what I said, but anyways, that's an example. So for her ability, I can redraw once from this jar. So if I didn't like that one, I can redraw again, and okay, I have this one, but I would have to go with this one. So this one says, oh, Readathon food. So I would go to that readathon and look at those prompts, and I would have to use that one. So that is, every character has to end by defeating the villain, and I have to use that jar. So help me get through those readathons I've been meaning to get through. So that is like a quick run through of the board, and let's look at all the other ones. I'm not gonna go through the cards, but I will go through the characters' abilities. So that's Snow White. The next one is, can you guess? Cinderella. So Cinderella, let me find her little character. Here she is. Goes here, same idea. It's sort of a different layout, but you know, she goes to the end. Her ability is if I roll a 1, I can double that roll. So she doesn't land on 1. Anytime I roll a 1, I can make it 2. So that's going to be for the entire game. So there's Cinderella. Moving on. This one. Quick guesses. All right. Belle. So Belle goes through her land all the way through. Belle's ability is I can redraw a card if I didn't like a specific card, but I can only do it once. So there is Belle's ability. This one. Okay, real quick guesses. All right. If you said Aurora or Sleeping Beauty, you are correct. Starts here, goes all the way around until we get here. And her ability is I get to double up on 1 book for my TBR. So if I end up having prompts that I know I can double up for 1 book, I can totally do that, but I can only do it once. All right. This one, quick guesses. You said Hercules, you were correct. So Hercules goes through, same thing, and this one has a special circle. This one is a special portal. So only one other character has this portal in the game. However, what this portal is that instead of going to that, instead of going to a specific colored portal, if Hercules lands in this one, then I have to either flip a coin or randomize which portal he's going to come out of. So I still do the 10-sided die. And if he lands on, like, say the first one, Snow White's board, I just have to see which portal. Is he going to come out on the blue one or is he going to come out on the magenta one? So it's just kind of randomizing which portal you come out on. And I added on his because he's having that extra challenge to try to get to Mount Olympus. So Hercules' ability is I get to double up on challenges and my TBR book. So if I pull out a challenge here and I get, you know, a readathon, or let's do this one. Okay, read with Winnie the Pooh. I get to double up the books I choose for this one with any of the books I already have on my TBR. So the idea is for, you know, the game, I'd have to pick different books and not double up with the game. But with Hercules, I can. So I hope that makes sense. So there's Hercules. All right, this one, 3, 2, and 1. If you guessed Mulan, you are correct. So she goes through all the way until she gets to the palace. Mulan's ability is each prompt I get to pick up 2 cards and I get to choose between those 2. So that's her ability. Okay, next one. 3, 2, 1. If you said Aladdin, you are correct. And so there's Aladdin's, goes to the palace. And his ability is at the end of the game, I get to remove 1 book at the very, very end. So it could even be from the challenge place too. So, okay. This one, 3, 2, 1. If you said Ariel, you are correct. So she swims all the way to the castle. Ariel's ability is I get to substitute for my Reading Around the World challenge at the end of the game. So if I go through all this and get like 3 prompts and then get a challenge, I can decide to replace my books and use it for my Read Around the World challenge that I do, because that's usually an added book list for me. So my jar, usually pick out a country there, and I could just replace any books for the books that I am going to read for this challenge. So it helps me in the long run. Put her here. All right. This one. 3, 2, 1. Pocahontas. Goes all the way around. Goes back to her village. Pocahontas, I can re-roll 1 time during the game. So if I didn't like a roll or I landed on here, I can re-roll and not potentially land on a portal. That was the idea. All right, last but not least, this one. 3, 2, 1. She said the Hunchback of Notre Dame or Esmeralda. There you go. This is hers, and as you notice, she has that special portal as well, because she has extra hardships, I feel like, in that movie, but she is going to the cathedral for sanctuary, and so this one, her ability is, if I roll an odd number, then and land on a portal. So let's say I was right here, and then I rolled a 1 and I landed on the portal, then I don't have to go through it. So that's her ability. And then we're back at board 1. So that was a quick run through of the game, and you're going to see gameplay in just a few minutes. All right, so I hope I explained everything well. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments below. I didn't want to do 2 separate videos because I'm trying to get this one up, so hopefully this video is not that long. But let's go ahead and see gameplay. Okay, so welcome to the rolls part of the video. I hope that I did an explanation of the board game, or the new board game that I did do for my TBR. Excuse me, I am not feeling my best right now, a little nasally. I think it was just a summer cold or just allergies, but I'm getting over it, so I apologize that my voice sounds kind of nasally or down. But let's go ahead and see. I have my 10 boards, and some of them are colored, some of them are not, and it looks really streaky, really bad. I apologize again for that, but some of these aren't colored in. I am going to slowly work through that, but some of them are. So they each have a number on the bottom, and we're going to see what board we're going to play with, what character we're going to play with. So here's a 12-sided die, and let's see what number we land on. Okay, that is a number 7. Board number 7, and of course it's not the one that I've colored in, but we are going to play as Aladdin. So there we go. That should fit in frame pretty well. But yes, Aladdin, let me get his little figurine. Here he is. So I'm going to put him right here on start, and Aladdin's ability is at the end of the game I can remove 1 book, so I just have to remember that. So all right, here we go. So this is roll number 1 for my June TBR. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is a regular prompt. Let me get my cards out. Okay, so here are his prompts. Just gonna shuffle them real good. Okay, let's start with here. So, prompt number 1. Oh, Iago. At least 3 different vowels in the title. So I'm gonna put it right up here. Okay, let's see for roll number 2. 1. Another prompt. This one says, oh, okay, so it's a 52 prompt. I just wrote, it broke, as a quote from the movie with the merchant, and it says, inspired by the top grossing movie the year you were born. Okay, so like it broke records. That was the intention, to go with that quote. All right. Roll number 3. 2. Oh, a portal. 1, 2. Okay, let's see what portal, what land we are going to. And I'll have to enter through the blue portal. 10. Okay, I did color this one in, but I know what land it is. So that means I have to put his prompts back. So I'm going to leave these here. Land we're going to is, we're going to France for the Hunchback of Notre Dame. And here I come out in this one. So I still play as Aladdin right here. So I'm just going to shuffle them just in case we land on a prompt next. These lovely, lovely prompts. Okay. And I'm actually going to put it right up here. All right. The next roll. I already lost count. I think it's like roll number 4. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. A prompt. Topsy-turvy day. Turn around and roll backwards. Redraw a card if it is a blank space. Okay. So I don't have to pick a book for this one, but I have to turn around and roll backwards at least one time. So I'll put that here. Hopefully, well, I wanted 2. I don't want to go through another portal. We'll see. 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this is turning out to be interesting. So let's see where we're going next. Okay, we are going to land number 2, which is Cinderella's land. So I'm going to go ahead and pack this up. Here we go. It's not colored, of course. Here he goes, but he's pretty close to the castle, so hopefully he'll get there within the next few rolls. Let me find Cinderella's prompts. Here they are. Let's go ahead and take these out and just shuffle them real quick. Let's put that there. All right. The next roll. Oh, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Made it to the castle. Didn't need these prompts. Okay, not bad. 3 prompts, but it's not done yet. We have to battle the villain. I take out my challenge jar. So this has all the readathons or booktubers names, channels in here. Okay. Historically, we've had Anne's challenge. So, Alma's challenge, decades set in challenge. Okay, so essentially, since this one is a year-long challenge, I think I just look at what she did for what she's doing for the month of June. Actually, since it says decades set in, this was her challenge last year. I am going to think about what I'm going to do with this challenge, but I'm going to come back and let you know in the other clip my books that I've chosen. And of course, since his special title is I can remove 1 book from the TBR. So how I'm going to do that is I'm just going to look at all the books I have and stack them, and then after that I'll get to remove 1. Okay, I think that's how I'm gonna do it. All right, I'll see you guys in the next clip. All right, so for the game, as you saw, I started off with Aladdin. Aladdin was my character, and for Aladdin's ability, I get to remove any book at the end of the game if I am not filling that book. So For roll one, you saw that I got the prompt Yago. And Yago, I'm supposed to pick a book with at least 3 different vowels in the title. So for this book, I decided to go with A Girl Called Samson by Amy Harmon. Now, I tried to pick this book up at the end of last year and was just in a really bad reading slump. So I did not get far into this book, so I'm going to restart this book. But essentially, this is set during the Revolutionary War. You have a young girl named Deborah, and her last name is Samson. And basically, it says she was born to Puritan parents in Plimpton, Massachusetts, and her father abandons the family. Her mother is unable to support them, and so she is bound out as an indentured servant. She has wanted, a life of freedom. The war comes, and she ends up signing up as a soldier, pretending to be a boy. So that's the one I'm going to choose. 3 different vowels: A, I, E, and just an extra one, O. So that one is going to be my pick for the first one. The next prompt is inspired by the top grossing movie The Year You Were Born, and I added the little quote, "It broke," from Aladdin, because I believe that fit perfectly with, top grossing movie broke records. So for this one, the top grossing movie the year I was born was Jurassic Park. So I had to really think about this one, but I'm going to go with Recorder by Kathy McCrum. This one is a dystopian book, and this is about a woman who is, I think she's part machine. I could be wrong, but she apparently is a recorder that doesn't have human emotions, or she shouldn't have that, and yet she is experiencing that. And I guess she's supposed to be like defected at this point, and they don't want her to be a recorder anymore. It's a sci-fi book, so I don't really know much about it except that, but I was thinking, Jurassic Park, because Jurassic Park plays a lot with like technology. The movie's like about evolution. Should humans like play around with genetics and bringing back these dinosaurs? And it's like that idea, like what's moral and what's not. Like I started to think like that. I thought like science-y. And so for Recorder, I mean, you have these group of people who decide like this certain group of other people should be recorders, and we should like make sure they don't have like human emotions, or basically like, is it moral what they're doing, I guess. And I don't know, it just fit in my mind. I know I'm not really explaining it very well, but it fits. And that's what I'm going to use for this one. I'm sorry, that was a very terrible explanation. I am getting this through audiobook, and I really should have written it down. I apologize, guys. All right, let's go ahead and go with the next roll. The next roll is Topsy Turvy. That's the next prompt I had. And that was to, turn around, roll backwards, and redraw a card if it was a blank space. I ended up landing on a portal, and we portaled to Cinderella's land. But through that, I actually did not get another prompt there because I landed at the end. So my challenge for that was Alma's challenge. And so it was the Decades challenge that she did last year, and I already did that challenge. I did the challenge based off of the published books for that decade. When I put this challenge back into the jar, I decided when I did it again, I want to read books that were set in those specific decades. So as you see, I wrote down a 1910 1910 and 1920 because I did roll a die to see how many prompts I'm going to do from that challenge, and it landed on 2. So I'm going to do the first 2, and that is 1910 and 1920. So for 1910, I decided to put the book A Mother in the Making by Gabriel Meyer. I have been trying to read a lot of Gabriel Meyer's backlist, and before she wrote the Timeless series, she wrote a lot of like these cute little novella series, and I'm not reading all of them because some of them just didn't interest me, but this one did. And so you don't have to read them in order. They're companion novels, but you follow this woman who essentially is like a nanny to this family. The mother is gone. She died, and the father needs help raising his children, and she comes and becomes a nanny. The two fall in love. So that one is set in the 1910s decade. For 1920s, I'm going to read The Illusionist's Apprentice by Christy Cambrin. This is an author I do want to read to zero. And all I know is that this is about a circus, and it's dual timeline, from my understanding. And yeah, you follow this apprentice to the illusionist. And honestly, I didn't look much into it because, again, I want to read Christy Cambrin's writing to zero. So I'm excited to read this. This is set in the 20s. And yeah. All right, so that was the game. I know I'm kind of flying through this because I don't want this to be super long because of the extra footage I had. But let's go ahead and talk about what I'm going to read for my reading challenges this month. So for Janet's reading challenge, her Christian fiction bingo board, she had 2 prompts, and one of the prompts is summer in the title or set in the summer. The other prompt is a booktuber rec. So I'm going to combine these 2, and this worked out perfectly because Janet actually did a video and she had some recommendations. And another author that I'm considering reading to zero is Michelle Shockley. And so this one is called The Women of Oak Ridge. And this one's set in Tennessee in the summer. Okay, I had to get the laptop for this one because I wanted to tell you about it. But this one, you do have 2 timelines. One is in 1944, the other one is in 1979. But it says in the 1944 timeline, Mabel Willett arrives in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, eager to begin her new government job and send money home to her impoverished family. She knows little about the work she will be doing, but she's told it will help America win the war. Not all is what it seems, however. Through Oak Ridge, employees are forbidden from discussing their jobs. May's roommate begins sharing disturbing information, then disappears without a trace. I'm going to jump to the 1979 timeline. So Laurel Whitlett is a graduate student in Boston when she learns about the history of Oak Ridge, Tennessee, where thousands unknowingly worked on the atomic bomb. And I'm actually going to stop there because that sounds interesting. So that is going to be the pick, and I'm excited for that one. For my biblical reading challenge, so this challenge, I have been going through the books of the Bible or some kind of like Bible devotional thing. And so I have my Bible right here, but the prompt is a letter. So that's like in the New Testament, like you can use the letters written by, Paul. I have a few in mind, but I haven't really picked one. I guess I'm looking really quickly through which ones that I haven't recently gone through. I might do Corinthians. Corinthians might be a good place to start. I might do Corinthians for this one. Currently, I'm going through the story of Rahab in my challenge for this month, and so I'm not done with that because I'm actually using the Lineage of Grace book. So I'm still working through some of the study guide prompts for that. Okay, so those were the yearly challenges. Now, I am going to talk about some readathons this month. So there are 2 readathons that I am interested in, and I'm going to go briefly through those because there's a lot of co-hosts, and I feel like, again, this video is long. So first one is Picnic in June. This is hosted by Lucy at the Lucy Chronicles. We also have other co-hosts. I'm going to put them all down below. But we have Jamie Gordy at Read Brucey, and she's on Instagram. Lindsay at Lindsay Lou Lemus. She's also on Instagram. Kay at Kay's Library, and Jay at the Kansan Reader. And so they curated this cute little picnic bingo board thing. And so how I did this was I picked the prompts that I feel like most represented me. Not the prompts itself, but like if I went on a picnic, out of those choices, what I would have chosen, if that makes sense. And it happens to be different for each person. So I'm glad that it worked out because I got every single person on this board. So for what are you eating? I would be eating baked goods on this picnic. I love bread. Chocolate, bread, I'm there for it. Carbs, yes. So this one's Kay's prompt, and her prompt says, a character who bakes or cooks. I'm going to slide a mother in the making because I feel like, you know, she's going to learn to cook for the children and everything. I'm hoping that it mentions it, but that's just a guess. That's the book I'm picking for that. What is the setting? I like mountains setting. Like, I think mountains are beautiful. And this is Jay's prompt. And so the prompt says, set in or has mountains on the cover. Recorder has mountains in the background. What animal do you see? Out of all the animals, I think a peacock would be stunning to see. And this is Jamie's prompt. And the prompt is, with either a gorgeous, a teal, or a peacock on the cover. Well, I went for a gorgeous cover, and that is The Illusionist's Apprentice, because the color, the ivory, the red, the black, I think it's beautiful. It's stunning. The dress is stunning. I love it. What book did you bring? Well, I'm going to bring historical fiction. And so that is Lindsay's prompt. And so the book I'm sliding in for that is, let me get that one, A Girl Called Samson. Last but not least, what else are you doing? Probably going to be listening to music. So that's Lucy's prompt. And so I need to have a book that has a musical element or character. This one's a new one on my TBR, but it's short, and this is When We Were Very Young by A.A. Milne. I got this at an estate sale. It has like yellowish sprayed edges, sort of. But this is the 3rd book in the Winnie the Pooh series. I think this is the last one Milne wrote, and I think like other people kind of took on that, the series. But yeah, it's an older copy, kind of vintagey, I guess, but nice little pictures. But in the 2 books that I have read from Milne, Pooh's always creating a song. So I'm hoping he creates a song in this one. All right, the other readathon that I will be doing is called Red, White, and June. And I love this readathon. This one is hosted by Shannon, I think. And I'll put all the hosts' names down below. But this one is at Old American Spirit, Kelly at Kelly Reads a Lot, Morgan at Morgan's Endless Library, Tay with Tales, and I don't think it's called Tales and Treats with Tay anymore. I have to relook at what she rebranded, but Tay, she is doing this readathon. Cheryl at Candlewick Library, and at In Search of Wonder, and Bethany at Bethany Brings Books. And so for the sake of the readathon, they are looking at the years 1770 and 1797. And so there are different prompts there. I decided to use one book for this prompt list because I didn't want to add a lot. But there is fictional story set in Revolutionary era. I'm doing A Girl Called Samson for this one. It also hits the prompts loyalist or patriot, quill and parchment, and courage in petticoat. So it might hit the other another prompt, but that's what the prompts that it is hitting. And so that's my book for this readathon. All right, and last but not least, I know it's a lot coming at you guys, but I did pull for my country, so I'll show you that clip now. And as you can see, I pulled out the country Taiwan, and so it is in Asia. I forget technically which region. I think it's Southeast region. That's going to be the region I'm going to explore for my vlog for the month of June. So more on that in that vlog. Let me know, guys, what you are reading for the month of June. If you're doing any of these readathons, how are you doing in your yearly challenges? If there are any books here that you would highly recommend I will get to first, let me know down below. I hope you guys are having a great rest of your day, and I will see you in another video. Bye, guys.